Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions podcast. I'm grateful you guys to be tuned in and listening, man. It's been an amazing journey. You know, we going hard. We're going hard in this season. We're going hard on our goals, and we're waking up every day and we're trying to accomplish something different. I was letting somebody know recently that you don't have to be the same person, or you don't have to act like the same person you once were in today's time. If you were somebody in the past, it's okay to leave that person in the past. And quite frankly, I want to make this podcast strictly about reinventing yourself, you know, and making a new name for yourself. I know most of the times we get caught up in people giving us labels, society giving us titles. Growing up in neighborhoods, they giving us nicknames, and they only see us one way. And we grew so accustomed to people seeing us one way, knowing that we probably act a certain way, and you don't want nobody feeling like you can't change. You get me? You don't want to feel like you're stuck in this growing body with the same mentality, with the same limitations, with the same outlook on life. I believe when you get older, your outlook on life should change for the better, in my opinion. And with that comes changes within yourself. So I know a lot of people who they probably didn't want to go to school no more. I'm one of those people. For instance, I made a decision. I didn't want to be known as a doctor. That's cool to some people, but I didn't really want to. I didn't really care for that. And I reinvented myself into a business major, not a business major, a businessman. I was in healthcare, and I was actually in. I was talking to the advisor, and she was like, "You know what? You have some good grades and everything like that, man. But you sound like you're really, really passionate about this business." And I said, "I am." And she told me, "You really just don't know what you want to do up until the point where you graduate. Some people do. Some people find out midway. But you kind of had a change of mind last minute. You went to school for all this time for what?" And I told her, "Sometimes your dreams come knocking at your door at the middle of the night, but you might be asleep already." The whole day went by, and in the middle of the night, out of nowhere, your dreams come knocking and be like, "Hey, Moise, I think you do a lot better in business. Here's an epiphany. Here's a vision." And then you wake up the next day, you just feel drained. You feel lazy. You don't feel passionate. This is for the people I'm speaking to who want to reinvent themselves. Because constantly we've been told that we can't reinvent ourselves. You can't change. And I find that very contradicting because that's where testimonies come from. Testimonies are the source of you changing yourself. It's possible. Of your circumstance, it's possible. You ever heard about somebody going from rag to riches and all they had to do was really change their mindset and start acting as if and continually doing what their heart tells them to do? See, when you're changing into the person you want to change into, your subconscious knows who you really want to be, right? Some people don't want to work corporate, but they have to in order to pay bills and everything like that, which is understandable. But I'm just speaking to the people who want to reinvent themselves and may not want to be the same person they are today, tomorrow. When you're in a process of reinventing yourself, it's your mind that you got to subconsciously program to change into that future person. If you want to start living life abundantly, you can't be fear of people judging you. You can't be fear of lack. You can't be fear of going places that you may seem that's out of your budget. You have to act as if. Now, how do you get there? Easy. You act like the person you will see act, who's a millionaire or whatever you want to do. Act as if, and you will eventually manifest. So in the meantime you changing, you acting different. You want to go out to nicer places to eat lunch. You don't want to eat McDonald's no more at 1, 2 o'clock, which is okay. I went to a fancy restaurant. What, like last week? I just went in the middle of the day, man, noon. Lady looked at me. She looked at me. I'm a young guy, you know. She like, oh, okay, cool. You feel me? Like, I didn't know she was expecting me just to be like, oh, I'm just looking. No, I came in, got my table. It was another gentleman over at the table by himself. So it was pretty empty in the middle of the day, which is cool because I love it like that. And they catered to me, man. And I was sitting there and I was basking in the luxury, you know, wine, got me a nice margarita, and ate me a nice burger. But their burgers were like different and stuff like that in a good way. But I wanted to act as if like I'm a businessman working in the middle of the day and I could do whatever I want and I could go grab lunch at a nice 4 or 5 star restaurant and I could just not care about the bill. I have to act as if. So when you telling people, oh man, I don't see that guy never changing. Why would you speak that about somebody? People want to change. How long? That's up to them. Because it's people who, and I'm gonna talk about this a lot. Well, I talked about this a lot in my previous episodes and everything like that. When my sister was on, she was on drugs and everything like that. She unfortunately passed away. R.I.P. to her. She was one of the realest people I ever met in my life. She didn't want to change. She didn't want to change. We try to do everything in our power to make her change. We did everything from treatments to Baker acted like Baker act, whatever that thing is when ambulance people come and they kind of like tranquilize the person and make sure like they go into like a mental asylum and all type of things like psychiatric help, prayer, even the holy oil, everything. And it got to a point where it was just us pushing her away a lot more. And when she was taking, these drugs and everything like that, it made her feel like a different person. You get me? Like her mind was somewhere else, but her body was trapped. And eventually, it took over her mind and she eventually passed away, unfortunately. But it was the mindset that she had of wanting to be someone different. So my sister, she was one of those people who she always wanted to get into medical. She was in nursing school, and unfortunately, she ran across somebody who, introduced her to certain drugs and everything. That took a turmoil down, and that made her life change. She was a straight A student, nursing student, and everything like that. Had 1 year left for nursing school. Met a guy, and things went down. And that's as if like your life could change for the better, your life could change for the worse. And when I seen that, we tried to make her change. We spoke good things into her, but you have to want to change. And her mind was, like I said, free, but it was her body that was trapped in that space still of wanting to abuse and neglect herself. So when I tell people, you could be someone who was totally different 5 years ago today. When you have guys who went to prison and everything like that, and they come back out and they're a different person, people might be like, oh yeah, prison changed them. But you still have guys who sometimes come out of prison and they still act the same way. So that guy who wanted to change and he's acting different when he got out of prison, yeah, it definitely changed him. But at the same time, it took a mindset for him to change into that person. You get me? He probably didn't want to slang crack and rob anymore and do all these things because the mindset he had 5 years ago landed him in some consequential things that, yeah, if it even did make any type of hit to him and it hurt him in time wise, where it hurt him the most was the mind. The mind is the place where a lot of people can't seem to control. And if you got that on the wraps, if you have your emotional stability on the wraps, and you have your mindset, on wraps, you don't really care about what's going on the outside because you know yourself. So when people come out of jail and they come out reformed or rehabilitated, it's not because sometimes they want to be that person that jail made them. Like jail then forced them to be that person. It probably took some time to become that person. Yeah, jail was probably the catalyst that made them have that mindset switch a lot faster. But like I said, I'm comparing it to people who go back to jail back and back every time. Some people just don't change. So when people say, oh, you can't change, don't listen to people like that. Reinvent yourself. I know so many people who are great people nowadays that a few years ago they will go in on you. You know, you say something to them, boom, it's an argument, it's a fight. Nowadays they look at you crazy because they still hold that power, but now they hold that power of restraint and they actually evolved into this professional person that people don't even recognize who he is now. You get me? Like, you may have a woman who was very, 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 very a party goer in college, and she gets in the corporate world, and people don't really know who she is because she reinvented herself to be that model of a corporate woman. The business mindset, the professionalism, the etiquette. She probably changed her whole lifestyle because college was just a time of her life where she just enjoyed that freedom and was just really out there. So when she grew up and she changed into this professional person, she talks with more, just decency. She works well with everybody. She's not really controlled by her actions or her emotions. She just let her body language and professionalism and her mentality do the talking and her aura. You would never expect this girl who was in college drinking and stuff like that, partying, to be this woman today. Same thing goes for guys. When they say, "Oh, I beat the streets, man. Now I own the club and I do this and this and that," you would never expect that person. You'd be like, "Man, I never would expect you to be that person." And they'd be like, "Yeah," because the people who understand reinventing yourselves, when you reinvent yourself, it comes with silence. It's not loud. You don't go in the world like, you know what, tomorrow I'm just going to change and I'm just going to be the best version of myself. And you know what, I just want to be a rich auntie and stuff like that who is drinking wine in the vineyard and picking flowers and smelling it on a bright sunny day. But you never put yourself in that environment to even feel like that for real. So you really lying to yourself. So when I say reinvent yourself, start with something small that reminds you of what the person you want to become actually be. You want to start dressing and getting some nice clothes and getting a lot of money in your pocket? Go where people dress well and have a lot of money. Dress well too, because eventually you're going to feel left out not dressing well. People going to look at your outfit like, that's what you came with? Okay, we're gonna show you how we pull 50 colors together and make it a whole different, like a real fashion statement right here. Then you start getting into the mindset of that person who wants to look nice and dress well and have a lot of money. Because your environment is shifting your perspective, your perception. So the same thing goes for money. Hang with guys with money. Hang with women with money. Don't go places where money doesn't really show. Go places where money sits. Go places where money actually revolve around. You get me? Subway doesn't have no damn money. I'm not saying it, but I'm saying a nice bar in a hotel lobby in a 5-star hotel, more than likely is going to have some money in there and the energy in there is going to be vibrant. You get me? I'm just comparing the situations, you guys. Same thing with reinventing yourself. You can have no money today and be rich as fuck tomorrow. And the only thing that's changing, the only thing that's stopping you, I'm not saying you're going to be rich as hell tomorrow as soon as you do one change. But what I'm saying is the seed of foundation starts today. Fuck who don't believe in your dreams. You want to be a singer? Go be a singer. You may not be the best singer, but that's why practice is such a great thing, because think about if you only had Russian roulette to sing good once, and if you ain't know how to sing for real, you could never sing again. But in life, you have something called practice. You think if they told Kobe, hey, if you miss your first shot in the NBA, you would never play again. You think people would actually have a chance to get better at things and explore and actually get to show the world? No. So that's why life is so precious. If it's giving you opportunity to grow, if it's giving you opportunity to practice what you already have, the skill, the mindset, the maturity, become that person and emulate that person. Patiently wait until you actually manifest into that person. Because sooner or later, you're going to start realizing that all the things you ever wanted in life is going to be right around the corner or even in your present moment. And the only way you're going to get to that present moment is if you reinvent yourself. You don't want to work minimum wage no more? You better figure out how to make your first 1,000 a month. You better listen to these podcast episodes I'm giving. You want to quit your job. You want to be someone who is a hairstylist and who's very out there and people know, but you don't want to you don't want to be a data analyst no more. Cool. Get that plan together. How you gonna become a hairstylist? Do you know how to do hair? You feel me? So all these things I'm telling you guys, it's not because I want you guys to hurry and make a change. I'm not telling you guys to hurry and think things through. But what I'm saying is patiently wait on what do you feel like is best for you. When you wait for the things that you feel like is best for you, opportunities are abundant, people are abundant, resources are abundant. But when you're too busy trying to hurry and run towards one goal and try to hurry and fix an image and do this, like you're going to mess yourself up. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who lives like a minimalistic person? Like you don't really need much in life. You want to be a cool, plain black t-shirt guy with some nice kicks and you just want to be rich and you just want to be that low-key guy who just emulates a person who's just rich, but no one knows he's rich? Or do you want to emulate a person who drives a nice car and people know he's rich, but you just want to become that person? You could do the same thing. Both worlds matter. Both worlds are the same. You could be anything you want in this world if you just act as if. I was never this person 5 years ago. 10 years ago, even, I was never this person. But I had the mindset shift to eventually become this person because I had to reinvent myself from the environment I was created in. And that's the biggest thing in life. My past doesn't define me. My end goal does. Because you ain't going to remember where I come from when I'm pulling up with Lamborghini years. You ain't going to remember where I come from. You ain't going to ask me what I do for a living. You're going to ask me how did I even get here. And I'm going to tell you, work hard. Because you ask somebody what they do for a living when they're rich, you automatically cut out the whole personal thing going on. Hey, what's your name? What do you do for a living? Really let that person give you a roadmap to where they got at. How did you get there? How did you get this? Not what do you do for a living? I'm a doctor. Okay, cool. Now the conversation dead. How did you get here? How did you get this car? Hey, I have a question. How did you get? Because you could say, what do you do for a living? The person may become a millionaire, may have become a millionaire through investments, and you just ask them a direct question. But if you say, hey, I really love your car, man, like, can you honestly tell me what do you do for a living? Some people might tell you, some people might. But a dude who sees or a woman who sees that you're hungry and want to do better for yourself, they'll shed the light on you. You get me? And the only way you're going to be able to get into that mindset is if you talk to people who have that mindset already. You got to show up as that person today. Don't wait tomorrow. I don't care if you get 3 likes on your photo because you're starting to wear a business suit and you're telling people you about to start opening your own business and you about to start acting as if as a successful businessman. And I don't care if you get 1 like. I don't care if nobody likes it. You keep waiting on your turn and watch how you get to shoot at the free throw line and show the world you're capable of closing out the game. I appreciate you guys for listening to Roll the Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey. Reinvent yourself. Listen to my last episodes, man. For everybody who's been tuning in, rate, review, share the podcast, man. I love you guys. Also, subscribe to the YouTube, billionaire_moist, man. It's been an amazing journey. We dropping gems. I'm going to go ahead and record another podcast video later next week and stuff like that. And this week as well, I'm having a master class. So be sure to also follow me on Instagram, billionaire_moist. Links in the bio. Sign up for the class. Be there. It's going to be a blast, man. We're going to talk about some real estate and get people involved. So once again, man, be safe and continue to chase your dreams. Appreciate you.